Congratulations. It's got to feel good for you being up on the winning stage here. I know you guys had a rough start to this season, but specifically, especially the bottom lane, you guys have had a lot of improvements over the last couple of weeks. How are you really feeling about, how open the bottom lane meta is right now, and not only the AD carries but supports that you get to play with?
Yeah, like the bot lane meta right now is like super versatile after like a couple of changes with the Jhin and Ashe and like Varus. So you can pretty much play anything. It just depends on like what you feel like playing in the situation and what you think is good with your team comp or against the enemy champions.
As far as you playing directly with Ole and your relationship with him, how has that developed, and where have your improvements as a bottom lane really come from?
So pretty much like in the earlier weeks, we didn't do very well, and we got a lot of criticism from the community and our coaches, our teammates, and we pretty much just like buckle down and try to focus on like improving our laning and just accepting like everything that other people said and just like improve after every game, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, you've done a good job weathering the storm of flame, and now you guys are finding a lot of victories. Your next matchup is going to be Team Dignitas, a very important one. Do you guys see yourselves as a playoff team? And if so, how are you going to defeat Team Dignitas in order to get there?
I mean, I definitely think that we're like a playoff team. I think we've been playing like super well the past 2 weeks, and we're just like keep improving. And against Dignitas, I'm not really scared of them, and I think we'll do fine, just like playing our normal style.
All right, confidence there. Glad to see that. Let's send it over to the analyst for a little bit more info on their series.
Thank you, Kobe. And Cody, a nice 2-0 victory here for Immortals, going to keep their playoff hopes alive. Of course, this will require either a win against Dignitas tomorrow, as was just alluded to, or if they are to lose that, there's still a possibility of getting in with a FlyQuest loss to Team Liquid as well. More on that later. Let's talk about how they crafted the victory today. Of course, they're up against CLG, who, as has been mentioned throughout the day, dealing with this last-minute roster swap. So let's identify how CLG strategized and came into this second game.
Right, I mean, so you know that based off the first game, things are not going great in the bot lane. Maybe things can go a little bit better. Maybe they hold on. You see them go with the Ashe and Karma, two champions that are useful even from behind. So, the Ashe will always have the ultimate available. Karma, right, one of the best laners in the game right now. So not too much of a surprise to see that from CLG. And then they try and go with a more snowball-oriented top side of the map with the Jace and the Fizz. Not too much Fizz play that we've seen from the top lane, but it has cropped up here and there, and it still has the ability to kind of take over a game and beats a lot of the tank matchups. So you can kind of see CLG being like, all right, our bot lane probably not going to carry us the way we're used to. Let's go with a more top-centric game plan, and it didn't quite work out, but I liked what they were thinking.
Felt like a very defined strategy this time around. The Ignite, Teleport, Fizz, definitely looking for lane dominance and perhaps some split push pressure later in the game. Lots of visitation from Xmithie towards the top lane to hopefully get him ahead. Didn't quite pan out, and that's really the thing, right? When the strategy itself is a good idea. Of course, if you can't execute on it or the chips don't fall in your favor, then it's not going to work. In the meantime, on the bot side, Cody and Ole, man, I mean, these guys are looking more and more like a duo that should be feared moving into that playoff picture, even against some of the top-tier bot lanes.
Yeah, I think you can definitely put them somewhere in the top 4 at this point. Obviously, TSM's bot lane looks good for the most part.
Right.
P1's bot lane is amazing. Arrow is one of the best players. And then you have C9's bot lane. But then after those 3 teams, you're starting to say, really, who is the best bot lane? You would think Stixxay and Afro. Obviously, unfortunately, we didn't get that matchup today to really compare how Cody's been doing. But for the most part, second half of the year has looked very impressive.
All right, but let's take a look at some stats there coming out of the bot lane, specifically for CLG, just to get a sense of what they're working with / what they're working without. Okay, Stixxay averaging across this entire split up essentially 7 CS in 15 minutes. Down 40 across both games. And look, this is not to throw any shade. We need to make this very clear. We're not throwing any shade at Aframu or at Joey for their performance. We're just setting up the picture of what CLG is equipped with coming into the day.
Right, we were talking about how Stixxay is one of the top 80 carries in the league. He's such a crutch for CLG to perform. They're always going to have a good bot lane, and then he's a great carry. And he was probably the best performing member on CLG over the entirety of the split. So to lose that into a support player who hasn't played 80 carry in a long time, paired up with a support player who hasn't even played in the LCS before, and they've never played together, it's such a lowering of the potential carry that you get. And
exactly. I mean, if you consider that each of those that 7 CS is worth, you know, roughly 120 to 140 gold, and then down 40. Also, your ADC position, you have 1,000 less gold, close to 1,000 less gold than you would expect to have in 15 minutes for your team. And so again, this is just illustrating the hurdles that CLG has to get over and why it is that they chose to go for a Darshan-focused strategy in the top lane.
Right, and obviously, if you have your bot lane able to hold on, and Darshan, he actually had a pretty sizable lead this game.
Yeah.
And the big problem isn't just that you're down gold, it's the pressure that comes with it. Dardoch was able to snowball by constantly making repeated gank attempts in the bot lane. They take that turret early, and then they were able to start moving around the map and get the Nautilus out of that horrible matchup versus the Fizz, and that really limits what Darshan can do.
And that's the thing, at the beginning of the day, we talked about, you know, how does Immortals approach this series, right? And they have to approach it in a way that doesn't come in with too much confidence. Of course, you can come in with confidence because you're playing against a guy, and you should, up against a guy who's making his NA LCS debut, but you shouldn't come in with overconfidence. And I think that they executed very well today, getting that clean 2-0 victory, you know, carrying from Dardoch, not overreaching in too many situations, and just getting the job done so that tomorrow they're set up to make it to playoffs on their own accord.
Yeah, and I think this was potentially such an interesting matchup to watch because CLG has so many different styles that they can play. They can play bot-centric, they can play top-centric, even Huhi makes a lot of plays.
Right.
And then Smithy's had great early pathing. It would have been great to see that matchup against Dardoch, who's such a X factor in the game, so you can take them over like we saw. And it's just unfortunate that, you know, Trevor Stixay got sick and we couldn't see that matchup. But hopefully we get to see something in the playoffs because I think this matchup is such a fascinating one to me.
Yeah, Dardoch on Lee Sin here. It does make me wonder moving forward if he is taken off of this champion, right? How big of a delta is it between this as his best champion and the next one available to him, right? And that's the thing is I feel like so many of Immortals' dominant victories, the ones that get me excited about this squad, are when he's on Lee Sin and no one else.
I mean, he's been playing pretty well on a lot of champions recently. His Rengars look good, his Elisa's look good. I don't think he's totally stuck on the Lee Sin pick, but it is scary that Immortals does seem to require so much out of Dardoch that when you get into slower playoff series that tend to happen, will you be able to find these openings? And that's a little concerning.
Either way, they've set themselves up to hold their own destiny in their hands tomorrow. We've got more league action coming your way. Cloud9 hit the Rift next as they go up against Phoenix One in a battle for second place. Don't go anywhere.
You actually had some clean plays that game, dude.
Bro.
Like, if your CS wasn't, like, down in the dumps, dude. Like, you actually had some clean plays.
Look for this guy?
Yeah. He has sums. Oh, dude. Let a brother get the last hit.
I'm trying to get my player of the game stats.
I'm just going it.
Everts, Josh.
Head top, careful. They're all top.
No, we can win. We can win. Yeah. Go, Jace.
We don't know where Fizz is.
Oh, triple kill. My kills.
Okay, you okay?
Thank you.